Hi Kumar, can you please able to speak? We are not able to hear you. Now we can. Hello, hi Kumar, can you able to hear me?
Yes, I can able to hear me.
Okay, right. Now you can share your screen and you can go ahead.
Hello. Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. So, my name is Srikanth. So, I have 12 plus experience in cybersecurity. Okay. So, I hope you are able to hear me. So, I am not getting any response from your end.
It's clear for everyone. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for this. Yeah. So, now everything is fine, right? Like you are able to hear me. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So, we'll start our course. Okay, so my name is Srikanth. So I have 12 plus experience in cybersecurity, and I work for different organizations and service based organizations. So here we are to learn the course called VAPT. Okay,
Kumar, we are not able to hear you. Guys, please hold on 2 minutes. Our trainer is facing some technical issue. We are going to resolve the issue in 2 minutes. Please hold on.
So able to hear now? Yeah, now you are able to hear, right?
Yes, we are able to hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for this. Actually, I was facing some network issue. Okay, so actually I started this, so let me again repeat. Okay, so here we are to learn this course name called VAPT. Okay, so it has been abbreviated as a vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Okay, so basically this VAPT or vulnerability assessment and penetration testing falls under cybersecurity field. Okay, so this particular VAPT can also be called as security testing, or it can be called as a penetration testing as well. Okay, so once after getting the this particular VAPT domain, right? So you'll be searching the jobs for this particular role, security testing roles or penetration testing roles or VAPT testing roles. Okay, and so here we are going to learn this particular VAPT on this particular two parts. Okay, on this particular two web applications and API applications. We are going to learn this particular VAPT course. Okay, so we just need to understand what is our job. Okay, so what is our job and what do we do, and after that, what is our day to day activities in the field of PAPT or penetration testing or cyber security. Okay, so basically we will get the application. Okay, so I'll just go through one demo site. Okay, so where this particular application will be used to perform different types of activities, and this is actually a vulnerable application. Okay, where it is having all the loopholes in this particular application with respect to security testing. Okay, so we just need to understand what is web application first. Okay, so web application is nothing but, like, if you are hosting any URL by using the browser. Okay, so any browser you can take, like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari. Okay, so any browser, if you are hosting your URL over there, then it is called as a web application. Okay, so similarly you have we are going to learn API penetration testing. Okay, so for this APIs we do not have the look and feel. Okay, so as we are seeing a graphical user interface here, right? So you will not be able to see the graphical user interface. Okay, so like it will be like this. Okay, so it will be concise, it will be having request and a response. Okay, so this is client side request. Okay, so we will enter our user ID and password, right? So we will enter the credentials and you will get the required details from the server. Okay, so that is why here for APIs you will not have the user interface like this. Okay, got it, right? So if any application hosting the URL by using the any of the browsers, it is called as a web application. Okay, so we are going to learn this web application penetration testing and API penetration testing in our course. So what is our job? So what do we do in a regular day-to-day activities, or once after getting into the job, what is your role? Okay, so the development team or testing team or client, okay, so they will provide you this kind of URL to perform the penetration testing, or you can say it as a security testing. Okay, so our job is to find the loopholes in this particular application. Okay, so before starting this particular penetration testing on this given application, so we will just request the development team or whoever gives this particular application to perform pen testing, right? So we will ask them to provide all the required details. Okay, So what are the required details to perform this penetration testing? First thing is the URL. API penetration testing. Okay, so web application is nothing but, okay, so if you are hosting any application by using browser, okay, so it may be any kind of browser, okay, so that would be like Google Chrome browser, Mozilla Firefox browser, or Safari kind of any browser. Okay, so if you are hosting this kind of applications by using this particular browser, it is called as a web applications. Okay, so they will testing team or development team or clients will provide you the this kind of URL to perform the penetration testing. Okay, so apart from this environment or URL, okay, so this is demo.testfire URL, okay, so which is vulnerable URL where you will learn the penetration testing. Okay, so we will be having different lab sessions and also the other URLs as well. Okay, so first of all, we will get this kind of URL to perform the penetration testing. Okay, and we will ask the development team to provide the credentials. Okay, so to log into any of the application, we need to have the credentials, right? So we will log in with the given credentials which has been provided by a development team. Okay, basically development team will coordinate with us, okay, to provide all the prerequisites. So after providing the URL and credentials, they will give us the walkthrough of this particular application. Okay, so walkthrough of the application and the, so they will provide this particular application, and this particular application is new to us, new to everyone, right? Like even for penetration testers also, this is new application to everyone, right? So they will make us understand this particular application. Okay, so after clicking on this particular link, what we need to do and what test data we need to provide. Okay, so all these details they will provide to us. Okay, so like after clicking on this link where this particular URL will navigate. Okay, so what are the passwords and special characters we need to provide here. Okay, so every test data and all the details to this particular application they will provide to security tester, or they will provide to us to perform the penetration testing. Okay, so what is our job here? Okay, so mana job endi ikkada. Okay, so once after getting the URL, so what do we need to do here? Okay, so the name itself indicates we are doing vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Okay, so we'll try to decode vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Okay, so what is vulnerability? So basically vulnerability ante endi manam emani define chestam cheptara evaraina? So can someone try to tell me vulnerability? My voice is audible, right? Hello?
Yes, it's audible.
Yeah, okay. So vulnerability is a weakness in a system. Okay, weakness in a system is called as a vulnerability. Okay, so assessment is evaluating or we can also call as analyzing the vulnerability, identified vulnerability. We'll see few examples as well along with this particular vulnerability assessment, and also we have one more thing called penetration testing, right? So penetration testing is exploiting the system. Exploiting అంటే ఏంటి మనకి gaining the unauthorized access. Okay, okay, so basically this particular penetration testing will be done by hackers. Okay, so to gain something out of this particular identified vulnerability. Okay, so మనం vulnerability assessment లో ఏం చేస్తామంటే we will try to find the weakness in a system, or we can also call as a loophole in a system. Okay, so we will find the loophole in a system, and whatever the identified vulnerability will be there, right? So in penetration testing what we will do is we will try to gain something out of the identified vulnerability. Okay, so whenever we hear a term called cyber security, right? So what comes to our mind basically? Okay, cyber security and term vinagane manaku basically what terms we will be reminding. So what kind of terms we will be getting in our mind is basically, so ethical hacking. Okay, or first we can go with hacking. Okay, and ethical hacking. Okay, so what is the difference between hackers and ethical hackers? Hackers will try to gain something from the loophole in the application. Okay, so hackers in hacking అటాకర్స్ అంటాం అనమాట. ఈ పెనిట్రేషన్ టెస్టింగ్ కోర్స్లో VAPT టెస్టింగ్ కోర్స్లో, సో మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది టర్మ్స్ విల్ బి న్యూ టు యూ. ఓకే, so some of the terms are test. Okay, so I'll write down each and every term here. Okay, so once we start our course I'll write down each and every term. Okay, like attackers, victim. Okay, so different types of methodology కూడా ఉంటుంది, so we'll try to understand that one as well. Okay, so in hacking attackers will try to exploit the system. Okay, or gain the unauthorized access to the system and use the loophole, identified loophole or vulnerability. Okay, to do some losses. Okay, so what depends on intention of attackers or hackers, they will try to do some losses. Okay, so what losses or damage we can say. Okay, so what type of losses or damages these particular hackers can do? Okay, so they can perform business loss to the application owners. Okay, and they will perform reputation loss. Okay, and they will steal the data. Okay, so we would have heard sometimes. Okay, so manam basically we have heard nowadays, like your application like Instagram or Ames data, Ames uh, public records was stolen by this particular hackers. Okay, so what do they do after stealing this particular data? Okay, so they will sell in the market, or they will try to damage the reputation, and they will try to do some business loss, or they will try to do some financial loss to the application owners. Okay, so they will, attackers intention will be like this, so they will try to do different types of losses based on their intention. They will try to do all these damages to the application. So what is our job? Okay, so we are ethical hackers or penetration testers or security testers, our job. Okay, so here we will try to prevent the application from attacks from hackers. Okay, so we'll try to prevent the attacks. Okay, so our job is to perform So hackers will do illegal activities. Okay, so they do not have the authorization to perform any attack. Okay, but ethical hackers will do legally. Okay, so legally in the sense, legally అంటే ఏంది మనకి, so organizations will hire us and ask us to perform this particular penetration testing, perform the hacking or ethical hacking on this particular applications. Okay, so legally they will hire the VAPT analyst to perform this particular ethical hacking. Okay, but so what is our job? So whenever application goes to production, so we just need to perform all the activities and all the hacking in the given application. Okay, so ఈ application లో, so we need to perform each and every attack, and we need to make sure that this particular application goes to production అంటే ఏంది, so it will be access to everyone. Okay, so every user, and every user in the sense hacker can also able to access this particular application. Okay, so example Facebook, Gmail. Okay, so or banking sites nowadays we are using, right? So every application goes through ethical hacking first. Okay, so they will hire the penetration testers and they will go through this particular penetration testing. Okay, all these things we will do, and then we will hand over the application to production. That means it will be available to public. Okay, so Facebook ఇప్పుడు publicly it is available to everyone, right? So before this it has gone through this particular phase called ethical hacking. Okay, so this is our job. We just need to find out the loopholes. Okay, so this is our URL. Okay, so we need to, so what are the different types of attacks and what do we learn or what do we do here is what we are going to discuss in our course. Okay, so if for example you do not have the user ID and password. Okay, so what are the different types of vulnerabilities or loopholes we can find? Okay, from our side is what we are going to try to see here. Okay, so they have provided you credentials like this. Okay, to log into this particular application. Okay, if you provide proper details you will be able to log into this particular application, right? So similarly they will provide the other set of credentials as well. Okay, so as I said, like when we start penetration testing on this particular application called demo.test file or any application, they will provide the test data, okay, and credentials, and they will walk through us the application, because we do not know what application is. Okay, how this particular application behaves we do not know, so that's why they provide you all the prerequisites. Okay, so once after getting this kind of application, what is our job? Okay, so మనకి ఇలాంటి అప్లికేషన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు మనం, what is our job? So our job is to find out the loopholes, right? Loopholes are weakness in a system, right? So we need to try to log into this particular application, okay, with by trying with different types of payloads. Sorry, someone
not looking.
yeah, please go on mute. If you have any doubts you can unmute and ask me. Okay, yeah, so we get this kind of application and we need to break this particular application. Okay, so we need to think as a hacker and we need to break this particular application is what our job. Okay, so we got this application and they have provided this particular credentials. Okay, so even hackers, for hackers we won't provide the credentials, right? Credentials ఇవ్వం, right? So hackers will try different ways. Okay, so one of the way we will try to see here. Okay, so one of the way is this SQL injection. Okay, so SQL injection అనే ఒక vulnerability ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. Okay, so we just try to put some command here, SQL command here, one or 1 equals to 1 అనేది every time it is true, right? So that's why we have provided this particular payload here. Okay, payload అంటే ఏంటంటే unethical code. Okay, so ఇక్కడ మనకి basically, so to log into this particular application what do we need to have? So ఈ application లోకి లాగిన్ అవ్వాలంటే మనకి ఏం కావాలి? Basically user name and password కావాలి, and we need to sign up this particular page. Okay, then only you will be able to log in to any of the application, right? But here we are providing some unethical code, or it is called as a payload here. Okay, so we have provided this particular payload and we are trying to log in. Okay, see here this particular user has logged in as a admin user. Okay, hacker ila try chestadu anamata. Okay, so even though without having user ID and password, we as a attacker we will try to do this kind of activities. Okay, so if you provide invalid details, what happens? So it will show this username or password is not available in our system, right? So basically, so whenever we provide this kind of payloads, this particular application takes and executes our query. Okay, so 1 equals to 1 అనే query మనం ఇచ్చినప్పుడు a particular application తీసుకొని it has been logged into this particular system. Okay, so this is called as a vulnerability assessment. Okay, so we will try to find the vulnerability. Okay, and we will also do some evaluation. Okay, so I'll come to that part. Okay, so and we have a another thing called penetration testing, right? So after completion of job, right, after completion of this course, right, so you'll be joining to different organizations. Okay, so some of the organizations will hire for only vulnerability assessment penetration testers. Okay, in some of the organizations they will go with penetration testing as well. Okay, so in vulnerability assessment we will just find the vulnerability. Okay, and in penetration testing, and after finding the vulnerability we will report that. Okay, so we'll come to that one as well. In penetration testing, as this particular user is not having any credentials but he was able to log into this particular application, right? So you can, like, the attacker or hacker, he got this particular credentials to this particular application, right? So what are the other things he can do? Okay, the attacker can do different types of things here, like changing the passwords of different users. Okay, so I can change the passwords of this user. Okay, I can create the users. Okay, I can create the users, I can change the password of users, and I can do everything. I can take complete takeover of this particular application. Okay, right. Example, I can directly change the password of this particular application if it is not implemented multi-factor authentication. Okay, so I directly password change cheyochu, and నాకు admin account వచ్చింది కాబట్టి as a hacker I can do everything with this particular application. Okay, so this is penetration testing. So taking the advantage of this particular application is called as penetration testing. Okay, taking the advantage of this system for our own benefits. Okay, so this is penetration testing, and vulnerability assessment is we will find out the weakness in a system, and after finding the weakness we will coordinate with development team. Okay, so development team, and make the vulnerability fix. Okay, so we'll make this particular identified vulnerability, okay, to fix is our job. Okay, so we just need to find out the vulnerability. Okay, and we need to do some assessment. Okay, we need to analyze whether it is a vulnerability or not. Okay, and we will coordinate with the development team to fix that particular identified vulnerability. Okay, so in vulnerability assessment we will find out the weakness, and we will coordinate with the development team to fix that particular identified vulnerability. And in penetration testing we will take the advantage of that particular identified vulnerability. So in our example, after getting this particular credentials, what advantage we are taking? We can add the users, we can delete users. Okay, and we can also change the password of this particular user. Okay, so we can completely take over this particular application with this particular small vulnerability or loophole, or this particular small weakness in this particular application allowed this particular hacker to hack this particular system. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఏం చేసింది, జస్ట్ ఒక చిన్న లూప్ హోల్ ఉండడం వల్ల so we got this particular complete application and we can do everything. Okay, so we have taken, as a hacker we have logged in and we have taken complete control over this particular application. Okay, so as we have got this particular admin detail also, admin credentials, right? So if you get normal user credential also, you can change the password and you can do everything. So based on the vulnerability we will do all these particular things. Okay, So this is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So what do we like after identifying vulnerability, what is our job? Okay, so vulnerability identify chesina tarvata, so we will prepare the report. Okay, so we will prepare that particular identified vulnerability report, okay, by drafting or by keeping these terms called description. Okay, వచ్చిన vulnerability the description రాస్తాం మనం. Okay, and impact. Okay, so what happened, like what is the impact of this particular identified vulnerability? Okay, so ఇప్పుడు SQL injection అని చెప్పాను మీకు ఇది. Okay, so description is SQL injection, and with SQL injection we do different types of activities. Okay, so which we will learn in future. Okay, so in our course, so here without having username and password we were able to log in. Okay, so here the impact is you can change the users credentials, and you can add the users, and you can do everything. You can take control over this particular application. Okay, so it comes under impact. And recommendation is important. Okay, so we will also need to keep the recommendation. Okay, so mana job idanamata. So after identifying vulnerability we need to keep the description, impact and recommendation. Okay, recommendation and the, so ikkada basically so generic recommendation, even everyone who are new to cybersecurity also knows this one. Okay, so in ikkada, so basically username lo em ivali manam, so what we need to provide here in the username, okay, our email id. Okay, so email id or okay, like this we need to provide here. The password also we need to provide some special characters. Okay, but here what happening here, even if you provide this particular special characters or commands, SQL command, this application is accessing this one. Okay, so we need to suggest the recommendation. Okay, so username and password parameters should not accept the special characters. Okay, so special characters ante the special character, like what special characters we have taken here. So okay, so special characters lo is single quote అని వస్తుంది. Okay, so ఇవన్నీ డేంజరస్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ అన్నమాట, SQL లో ఉండే డేంజరస్ క్యారెక్టర్స్. ఓకే, సో మనం ఎప్పుడైతే యూజర్ నేమ్ అండ్ పాస్వర్డ్ లో ఇచ్చినప్పుడు అలో చేస్తుందో, సో అప్పుడు అప్లికేషన్ వల్నరబుల్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ వై we will provide this kind of special characters in username and password parameters, and we will try to bypass this login mechanism. Okay, so as a recommendation, okay, so మనమే vulnerability find out చేయాలి అండ్ మనమే recommendation కూడా ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, అండ్ ఇంపాక్ట్ కూడా మనమే చెప్పాలన్నమాట. ఓకే, సో మన జాబ్ ఇది. ఓకే, సో ఆఫ్టర్ ఫైండింగ్ ది vulnerability we will draft the description of that particular vulnerability, impact and recommendation. Okay, so impact is we have discussed, right? So we can take control over the application, and we can change the password of users and all. Okay, so description also I'll make you learn. Okay, in our course we are we will learn. So here, so by using which methodology we are doing all this security testing? Okay, so manaki we got this vulnerability, and okay, so manaki ee particular penetration testing cheyadaniki what is the basics? Okay, so we need to understand the basic. Okay, so we have a methodology called OWASP top 10. ఓకే, సో మనం సెక్యూరిటీ టెస్టింగ్ ని ఏం బేస్ చేసుకొని పెనిట్రేషన్ టెస్టింగ్ చేస్తున్నాం అంటే బై ఫాలోయింగ్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ రూల్స్. ఓకే, సో ఈవెన్ ఇప్పుడు నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ చూపించాను కదా, సో దట్ ఆల్సో కమ్స్ అండర్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ 2021 ఆర్ 2017 రూల్స్. ఓకే, సో ఈ రూల్స్ ఎవరు డిక్లేర్ చేస్తారు ఆర్ ఎవరు రిలీజ్ చేస్తారంటే, ఓకే, సో వెబ్ అప్లికేషన్, ఓపెన్ వెబ్ అప్లికేషన్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అని ఈ OWASP full form. Okay, so top hackers and developers and security professionals, they have formed an organization. Okay, so and they will release for every 3 to 4 years they will release this particular top 10 attacks to the market. Okay, so if your application, any application like Facebook, Gmail or any application, or even demo.testfire which we are seeing now, okay, so any application is not vulnerable when we do not have this top 10 vulnerabilities in the application. Okay, so application is said to be secure. Okay, so it is not 100% secure, but it will be secure to most critical and high severity vulnerabilities. Okay, so if you do not find this top 10 vulnerabilities in the given application, any of the application, okay, so then it is considered as per industry, it is considered as a secure application. Okay, even though we have a chance to exploit methodologies, but as per industry standards. Okay, so when you join to the organization, right, so you'll be following this particular methodology. Okay, so to perform penetration testing, so we have seen this particular A3 now. Okay, so likewise we have A1 to A10. మనకి A1 నుంచి A10 వరకు vulnerabilities ఉన్నాయి. Each and every vulnerability we will see in real time. Okay, so I'll try to discuss few more vulnerabilities here. Okay, so as we got to know, right, so we will do this particular penetration testing by using OWASP method. So I'll try to do some vulnerabilities here. Okay, so after getting the application, okay, so I'll try to inject one more injection. Okay, so so here we don't need to have any coding knowledge. Okay, so if you have coding knowledge, that would be better. Okay, but I'll make you understand each and every payload here in our course. Okay, so example, we have this particular URL. Okay, and we have inserted this particular. Okay, so what it is showing, the site is temporarily down, or the site is temporarily hacked. We can write anything. Okay, the site has been hacked అని చెప్పేసి కూడా రాయొచ్చు అనమాట. ఓకే, సో మీరు యూజ్ చేసే అప్లికేషన్స్ లో ఇఫ్ యూ ఫైండ్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ మెసేజ్ ఆర్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అలర్ట్, విల్ యూ యూజ్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ అప్లికేషన్? మనం యూజ్ చేస్తామా ఇలాంటి మెసేజెస్ వస్తే, లేకపోతే ఇలాంటి వల్నరబుల్ అప్లికేషన్స్ ని మనం బేసికలీ వి వోంట్ యూస్. ఓకే, సో అటాకర్స్ ఇంటెన్షన్ ఇస్ టు డూ దిస్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, సో యాజ్ ఐ సెడ్, attackers intention is to do some difference of business loss, financial loss and reputation loss, and also they can steal the data. ఓకే, సో ఇలాంటి వల్నరబిలిటీస్ అనేవి మనం ఇక్కడ మన పెనట్రేషన్ టెస్టింగ్ లో మనం నేర్చుకుంటాం అనమాట. ఓకే, అండర్స్టూడ్? అండ్ we have this particular application of demo.testfire, right? So we can also see some more examples, right? We can try to upload one image. Okay, so మీరు యూజ్ చేసే అప్లికేషన్స్ లో ఈ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ సెక్యూరిటీ టెస్టింగ్ ఆల్రెడీ ఎథికల్ హ్యాకర్ చేస్తారు అనమాట. ఓకే, సో మనం ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ లో జాయిన్ అయినప్పుడు కూడా applications will be new to us. Okay, so we need to perform each and everything as I'm showing you. Okay, so here, okay, this is our website, and I'm trying to upload some image. ఓకే, సో ఏ ఇమేజ్ అయినా ఇక్కడ అప్లోడ్ చేయొచ్చు అనమాట. ఓకే, దీనివల్ల ఏమైతుంది, హ్యాకర్స్ వాట్ దే ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు అచీవ్ హియర్, దే ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు డూ సమ్ బిజినెస్ లాస్ టు యూ. ఓకే, సో ఇఫ్ యువర్ సైట్ ఈస్ షోయింగ్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ మెసేజెస్ ఆర్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇమేజెస్ in your site, no user will particular application, right? So that is the intention of hackers. Okay, so there will be competition between different types of applications, right? Like e-commerce applications, if you take example, so we have Myntra, Amazon, and some e-commerce websites also. Okay, so they would try to do some this kind of attacks on this particular application to do the business loss or financial loss to gain the financial freedom to this their applications. Okay, so వాళ్ళకి లాభం వచ్చేలాగా they will try to perform this particular attacks on their competitive sites. There is possibility. Okay, so hackers will try to do this kind of actions in their particular application. Okay, so this vulnerability is called as a cross-site scripting. Okay, so cross-site scripting image upload vulnerability. Okay, so this also comes under this particular injection. Okay, and we have different types of vulnerabilities as well. Okay, so example, we have a site called Amazon. Okay, so Amazon ఉంటుంది కదా మనకి ఇక్కడ. So what are the different things we can do as part of security testing? Okay, I'm trying to put few more examples here. Okay, so we have a product called AC. Okay, so here we can also try to manipulate this particular price. Okay, మనం penetration testing లో ఏం చేస్తామో day to day I'm just trying to give some examples. Okay, so SQL injection చూసాం మనం, and we have tried to upload some image, okay, in the application, and here we are trying to tamper the price as well. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఈ price ని tamper చేస్తే see. Okay, so it has been given the price of 430. Okay, so whatever you are putting here, it would come to this particular price. Okay, మీరు applications penetration testing ఇచ్చినప్పుడు, so whenever you find this kind of applications, you need to try this kind of scenarios as well. Okay, so it doesn't mean that Amazon application is vulnerable to price tampering here. Okay, so Amazon application ఏదైతే మనం యూజ్ చేస్తున్నామో, okay, so ఇది client side మాత్రమే. Okay, so it will not affect to anyone. But if this particular vulnerabilities appears at the server side also, then it will be a huge problem to the business owners. Okay, so మనం యూజ్ చేసే అప్లికేషన్ లో client side it is okay, so it has allowed you to చేంజ్ ది ప్రైస్. ఓకే, సో సర్వర్ సైడ్ కూడా మనకి అప్లికేషన్ అనేది అలో చేయొద్దు అనమాట ప్రైస్ ట్యాంపరింగ్ కి. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ది ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్. ఓకే, సో వీ కెన్ డూ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ things as well. If it is allowing server side, we will get this particular product with 430 rupees only. Okay, so in market we have many applications which is vulnerable to price tampering. Okay, so we can see those particular examples as well once we start our course. Okay, so what are the other things we will see here? Okay, so we have username and password. Okay, so we will send this particular username and password to, so actually, so we just need to discuss something about tools. Okay, so we understood, right? So we have discussed some of the examples, and here coming to tools part, we'll discuss Burp Suite tool. Okay, so we have a tool called Burp Suite and Zap, and also Kali Linux, and for APIs we will use Postman. Okay, and also, yeah, so I'll add, if you have any, I'll add the tools as well. Okay, so these are the primary tools. So we will use this particular, this tool is this tool name is called as Burp Suite. Okay, so we will use this particular tool to perform some different actions. Okay, so ఇక్కడ username and password ఉంది కదా, so మనం ఏ particular application తీసుకున్నా కూడా, so we have username and password, and you need to select this particular username and password and you can perform the attack. ఓకే, సో మల్టిపుల్ పేలోడ్స్ తోని మనం అటాక్ చేయొచ్చు అనమాట. ఓకే, సో దీనివల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే, సో ఒక్కటే మెషిన్ నుంచి we will get more number of requests on the server. Okay, with that we can crash the application or we can slow down the application. Okay, that is called as DOS vulnerability. Okay, so we will see in detail about each and every vulnerability. Okay, so this particular security testing will relies on mostly CIA triad. Okay, so CIA అని చెప్పేసి triad ఉంటుంది: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so దీనిపైన ఇంపాక్ట్ అవ్వకుండా చూడడమే మన జాబ్. Okay, so I'll tell you each and everything in the next classes. Okay, so before this we just need to understand one small concept called client server. Okay, so I'll just try to make you understand this one, and later we will take the questions. So whenever we initiate say communication from client to server. Okay, so client అంటే ఏంటి, server అంటే ఏంటి మనకి? So client is whatever the web interface you are seeing. Okay, so మనం ఏదైతే వెబ్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ మనం చూస్తున్నామో ఇక్కడ, it is called as a client. Okay, and we are entering some details here, right? So it is going to server. Okay, so after entering details it is going to server. Okay, in HTTP or HTTPS request. Okay, so it will, in server we will be having different things, like server is composed of web server, app server, and database. Okay, so a web server, it will take the request and it will transfer the data to app server, and it will process in database, and it will serve to the client. ఓకే, సో మనం ఒక యూజర్ ఆర్ ఒక యూఆర్ఎల్ ఎంటర్ చేయగానే మనకు పేజ్ వస్తుందంటే, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఎట్ ద బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ లైక్ దిస్. ఓకే, సో ఇది క్లయింట్, మనం చూసే యూఆర్ఎల్ ఇస్ క్లయింట్. ఓకే, సో వెన్ we provide some details, it will go to server, and at the server you have web server, okay, app server, and database. Okay, so web server లో PHP and Microsoft IIS అండ్ nginx ఇలాంటి సర్వర్ డీటెయిల్స్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఓకే, సో యాప్ సర్వర్ లో మనం కోడ్ రాస్తాం, జావా కోడ్, ASP.NET ఆర్ PHP కోడ్ we will write in app server, and a web server will process this particular request, and database is used to store the data. Okay, so all these things processing will be done. Okay, so when you enter username and password, right, so it will come here and it will check every details, and it will go to client again. Okay, so it will go in the form of status codes. Okay, so which we will discuss. Okay, so what is our job in this particular client server model? Okay, so manaki client nunchi server ki పంపించే ముందే data, what we will do is we will do some intercepting or man in the middle attack. ఓకే, సో మనం ఈ అప్లికేషన్ మనం ఒక డేటాని పంపించేటప్పుడు, సో వీ కెన్ ట్రై టు ట్యాంపర్ దిస్ డేటా, అండ్ వీ కెన్ డూ డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్ బై డూయింగ్ సమ్ మ్యాన్ ఇన్ ద మిడిల్ అటాక్స్. ఓకే, విచ్ కెన్ బి డన్ బై దిస్ పర్టికులర్ టూల్. ఓకే, సో ఈ టూల్ తోని మనం మ్యాన్ ఇన్ ద మిడిల్ చేయొచ్చు అనమాట. ఓకే, సో క్లయింట్ నుంచి సర్వర్ కి డేటా వెళ్ళే ముందే వీ కెన్ క్యాప్చర్ దిస్ రిక్వెస్ట్. ఓకే, and we can tamper data, and we can process the request. Okay, so that is why this particular penetration testing is very much important in day-to-day lives. And even nowadays every application hires a penetration testers. Okay, because of the important, if you leak some little weakness in the application also, it costs so much to the application owners. Okay, so that's why this penetration testing is very much important. So any doubts still here? Even doubts in ikkadi varaku? So we just need to understand the basic concepts. Okay, so the course content is this one. Okay, so I'll try to come with very basic forms. Okay, like we will just again discuss what is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, what are the different types of penetration testing. Okay, we will discuss cache, course, each and everything we will discuss here. Okay, cache, cookie, session, and then we will discuss resume preparation, and we'll discuss interview questions. Okay, and we will do the attacks by our own. After completion of this course, I'll make you do all these particular things by we will do this particular penetration testing by using this OWSP top 10 methodology. Okay, so I'll just finish this course, this particular demo session by just giving you the advantages of choosing this particular penetration testing as your career. Okay, so here as I said, like we just need to follow the OWSP methodology here, right? So we need to coordinate with the development team. Okay, development team తోనే మనం వర్క్ చేస్తాం కాబట్టి we don't need to work on rotational shifts or night shifts. Okay, after switching your career to, or after you're starting your career to VAPT, right? So you don't need to work on shifts. Okay, so that is the primary advantage. Okay, and then you can do some freelancing sites. Okay, so by your own. Okay, you have the part-time job as well. Okay, you can do that, and you can do the bug bounties. Okay, so you can do all these particular things if you learn this particular course with good efficiency. Okay, so that's it from my end. Like if you have any doubts, like from Monday we are going to start this particular course. Okay, so we'll tell you the time and all. Okay, so the course duration is like 30 hours. Okay, so 30 to 32 hours, sometimes it might take, like based on your doubts and all, we'll take this particular course. Okay, so we will also offer you placements on this particular course. We will assist you on these particular things. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Okay, so we'll let you know the timings and all